Bull or bear? Got my old coin that I started rolling with in these videos. 1 ounce bull and bear. Privately made, I don't know who made it. Comes up a bull. Let's see what happens on Sunday night when it opens, because it should be interesting after the last week or two or longer that we've been watching here, especially Friday's close. We'll get to that in a moment. Meanwhile, I've got the live underwater Deerfield cam up right now. That's a huge bait ball right there. Pilchards, we call them here. We usually use these to fish with. And the way they're balled up there, you can tell there's probably some snook and some other predators underneath them. Snook usually sit underneath them, and this is our snook season for you fishermen out there. Wonderful fish to catch. Caught one the other day, slot size, but flopped off my hook and back into the water, so I didn't even get a good picture of that baby. Anyways, let's get into precious metals reports. This is not a fishing show. I've been trying to make it one for a long time, but see what happens. What a roller coaster ride of a day Friday was. I mean, I kind of like the action that I've seen. You know, in my last video, I was talking about, what I felt is good, healthy movement in a precious metals market. Not that I would know what that looks like specifically, but based on past markets I've seen back in 2008 to 2012, and really gold was a long-term bull market. Gold started getting into its bull phase, and bull markets don't go parabolic right away. Bull markets can happen over time. They're kind of subdued looking, and our gold bull market was I think it was like 2002 or 2003 or something like that, and then started kind of slowly picking up steam over time. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and occasionally some backward movements and some corrections, but mostly an upward trend. And if you take a look at graphs, you'll see that. And the same thing that we saw with 1980 until it did kind of go parabolic, and then it was just off to the races. And this week we saw what I felt were kind of parabolic type moves, especially on Friday. I mean, take a look at gold shooting up. That's nearly, folks, look at that. It's nearly $100 per ounce from the low to the high. $2,334 to $2,430 is the high. And silver the same way. Nearly $1.80 spread in silver, if you take a look at that. I mean, that's just insane, and it all happened pretty much on Friday. What happened? Did a big buyer come in, and all of a sudden a big seller came in and sold? And and it's leaving a lot of people, even a lot of folks that discuss gold and silver out there and the more technical side, are scratching their heads right now. There's some people believe that there's a bunch of different reasons this is happening. It's war, and it's this or that. I'm going to get into that in a moment as well. So take a look at these numbers. Platinum kind of, again, monkey hammered back down below that $1,000 mark. Again, gold and silver just went so fast that I was waiting for correction. Platinum not so much. However, platinum didn't get monkey hammered as bad as the other metals, and palladium for some reason held on to its gain, or whatever gains it made. It's been sitting on the sidelines there for quite some time. But this is not a show about palladium, and a little bit about platinum, because most of what we buy and sell here is gold and silver, as do other dealers. All right, something I wanted to discuss here is the gold to silver ratio. I usually do the math and tell you what it is, but I wanted to look at a chart here on a historical level. Now, what I find interesting is that the ratio, the gold to silver ratio here in 2020, as you can see, we're as high as 113 to 1 in March 2020, and that's when gold made one of its, again, breaking an all-time high back in 2020. I forget what the all-time high was in 2020. Was it 2070 or 2050 or something like that, or 30? I have so many numbers I got to remember. But the silver did not follow, but then silver quickly caught up and jumped up to that $30 level, if you guys remember back in that time period. And premiums on silver just went crazy. The physical buyers went crazy, a lot of different things. And then again, we see March 2021 where the ratio goes back down to 69 to 1. But it looks like the average has been in that 65 to 75 range here for a couple years now. Lower again, if you take a look, there's 2011, 2012. Let me tighten this chart up a little bit here as well. What is that, the 10-year right there? Yeah, there's our 10-year. And as you can see, we're still sitting in that ratio, gold to silver ratio, that 80 to 1, 90 to 1, because let's take, what is the ratio right now exactly? Because this only goes up to last month. Let me just take a look here, or ask a question. $2,344.48 divided by 27.91.
The answer is approximately $84.
Okay, well, that's about right. 84 to 1. Okay, not $84, but 84 to 1 appears to be the answer to that. And again, we're in that range. Take a look at that. So gold and silver ratios are not out of whack. I know there's some people that trade the ratios, but we are not out of whack within what has been the norm for the last 10 years. And I'm not talking the norm for the last 20 years, because again, if you look, that ratio tightens up substantially there, or in the past. But just recently, we are in that ratio. So what is causing gold and silver? And by the way, there's your down 1.39%, down 1.7%, but everything across the board, monkey hammer down. And why? I mean, why would Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ? Well, of course, inflation's coming hot. We've got 2 wars coming up. We've got $1 trillion deficits, $1 trillion interest payments, that kind of deal, every 100 days or something. I forget what it is. So, I mean, no wonder. I mean, that's, however, why are gold and silver, and I'm going to go up to futures here, why are gold and silver down? I mean, there's no good explanation for this. And I'll tell you why gold and silver are down, and we'll get to that in a moment as well. I don't think it has anything to do with this. You know what I mean? I don't think it has anything to do with, by the way, what a great video this is. Edwin Starr's war. But I don't think it has to do with the Middle East. I don't think it has to do with Ukraine per se. I mean, in fact, very little news coming out of Ukraine at all, and that's because there's no good news coming out of Ukraine as far as all the money that we've spent there and the war that's going on there. No good news coming out anymore, but we've not focused on that, and it looks like I'll talk about that in a moment too, but I don't think it's war that's really driving these prices, and especially, why would it drive it down on the weekend? Why on a Friday? And we're going to get to that in a moment as well, but here's one of my continuing reasons why I believe gold continues to rise. Maybe not so much silver, because silver is monkey hammered in the Crimex criminal markets run by the CME Group, the world's largest derivative crooked marketplace in the world. That's my opinion, and the opinion of people much smarter than me, and by the big crooked banks like JPM, and we know they're crooked because they've been caught doing it. So it's legal to call them crooks because they have crooked behavior. They're felons, more or less, felon companies. But no, here, I digress on that. So this is the reason right here, in my opinion, why we've seen gold prices go up. Now, does this explain why we've seen the recent, really parabolic kind of big moves in gold and silver kind of catching up? No, not unless something catastrophic happened in the banking system that we're not aware of at the moment, which is a possibility as well. So if it's not war, if it's not a catastrophic banking problem that's just popped up out of nowhere in the last week or so, what could it possibly be? Why is, let's ask, what is gold and silver up for? Again, my opinion, it's just a continuation of this chart right here. And also the fact that, especially with silver, the price of silver has been held down so long that, I believe that there's a big physical shortage out there. And again, let's talk about that in a moment. But this is the chart you really have to look at if you think about this. And one thing I wanted to point out, folks, this is just since January. This is the January to March chart, and this is the CPI, purchasing power consumer dollar for the U.S. average. This is just, again, take a look. It's 2024, January, February, March. Take a look at that. That's a toboggan slide to hell for the U.S. dollar and the purchasing power of the dollar, folks. This is not a 10-year chart. Let me kind of focus out. Let's go to a 1 year. Does that look good? Well, the little speed bump right there kind of feels good, I guess, to some people. I'm not quite sure what was that about. Then we go to the 5 year. That's a ski slope, what level, whatever they call it, a double diamond or something. I'm not a skier. And then the 10 year looks a little more doable for us beginner skier types. But The max chart overall, holy crap, that's a roller coaster ride to hell with a nice little cruise at the end. But folks, this is why you want to own gold and silver, I believe, as well. Silver's a great asset to own. It's just been super cheap for a long time. We're all waiting for our oh shit moment when it comes to silver. And it felt like we were going to have it this week. And I still think, again, let's see what happens on Sunday. All right. Boy, I can jump down so many rabbit holes. I wish I had someone here to kind of smack me a little bit and say, Brian, come on, you're getting off track here. So what is causing the price of gold to go up and down? Well, here, Ted Butler, and obviously I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of Ted Butler. Let's just say I've been reading him for a long time. In his reports, and recently subscribed. By the way, if you're a precious metal dealer or you like gold and silver, or talking head and gold and silver, I think it's worth subscribing to his website. It's called butlerresearch.com, I believe, and I think that it's very reasonably priced. It's priced maybe about an ounce of silver, a little more than an ounce of silver, what a silver eagle would cost you per month. But again, I think it's worth it. Ted says here, and again, my mouth is kind of blabbing, but you saw what I highlighted up here. Yes, if silver prices do sell off, this is on April 10th, this is before Friday. If silver prices do sell off, it'll be due to deliberate future contract positioning on the COMEX, same as it has been for 40 years. What's that song? Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. What was it? The Talking Heads or something like that? Well, anyways, same as it ever was, folks. Same old bullshit for the last 40 years. And that's what we saw on Friday. You didn't see gold or silver capitulation. You didn't see the Chinese folks or the people in India or U.S., even not in the United States. There's no capitulation in precious metals. Even when you look at the ETFs and you see those outflows, those aren't capitulation. That's someone stealing metal from the ETFs to put it somewhere where they really need it. That's silver I'm talking about, not gold. There's no rarity of gold right now. There's plenty of gold available, not enough silver available out there. But I guess that could change with gold pretty soon as well. So Ted says if silver prices do sell off, it'll be due to deliberate future content, and that's exactly true. It's the same as it's ever been. But I want to read a little bit more of this, and I hope he doesn't mind. It's just a paragraph or so, and some of you technical folks will get a little more into this right here. Ted says, having acknowledged the possibility of a sell-off and the reasons it could occur, there are more reasons ever to suggest such a sharp sell-off may not materialize as it has in the past. Well, I guess Ted missed on Friday, all right, but maybe Ted's not. Maybe $1.80 in silver, maybe, and considering how fast it went up, maybe that's really not a sharp sell-off. That's just a correction after a big blip in the middle of the day. Maybe we won't see a sell-off on Sunday night and Monday morning. And let me read on here again. You know how I can get kind of sidetracked here. Sip of coffee there. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. Why suggest a sharp sell-off, a silver sell-off may not materialize as it has in the past? Well, Ted says, for one thing, those short silver and gold on COMEX have come to suffer greater open losses in a shorter period of time than any previous time on record. This is important. And Ted says, I would assume that many of the shorts in COMEX silver futures are also short in gold, for the simple reason those inclined to short either metal would be also inclined to short the other as well. Therefore, I find it reasonable to combine the short positions in each metal for broad financial calculation purposes. Doing so leads to a rather cut and dry calculation that as of last night, and again, this would have been April 9th, what was that, last Wednesday or something like that? The 10th was Wednesday, that would have been Tuesday. Doing so leads to the last cut and dry calculation that as of last night's close, the combined total open loss to gold and silver short sellers was $18 billion. $14 billion in gold and $4 billion in silver. And all this has occurred since February 27th. This is undoubtedly the largest such open loss record on the shortest time frame, and the most obvious observation is there was no intent or secret master plans by the shorts to put themselves into a financial hole amounting to $18 billion. So again, this adds to the mystery. When we know that basically gold and silver markets are controlled by the big commercial shorts out there. They've been, especially silver, mostly silver, and they have been for decades, as Ted's pointed out, correctly so, okay? So, for silver to jump up that high, they're incurring large amounts of losses. what has happened? What is the reason for this? Well, if you want to know what Ted thinks, you can read more of his article here. That's, but it's basically the same thing that we've been talking about for a little while. You know, the market, gold and silver markets, especially silver market, is in a short position right now of silver, of physical silver, and the squeeze really is in the physical silver markets. And contrary to what some people think, the ETFs also are very important of drawing silver or keeping silver not available for sale. When silver is in an ETF, it's not being used for industry, manufacture. It can't be used and sold to someone else. Despite what a lot of people think, ETFs are required to have that silver on hand to be able to buy and sell it. I don't believe that SLV, unless JPM, who is the custodian for them. Well, maybe I just stumbled into something here. I should put my foot in my mouth. Oh boy. I believe they do have the silver on hand. They've proven that they have it so far. And I believe that BlackRock or whoever kind of owns that whole operation, and JPM is a custodian for SLV. And also, if you talk about Sprott too, I believe Sprott has the silver on hand as well. So I think that all the silver that when you see ETFs start to grow, you realize that silver is being taken off the market. I mean, the silver still exists, but it's not available for sale until a certain price is hit. And what we haven't seen is we have not seen capitulation in silver. The ETF markets, and when people say, oh, well, the ETF markets, we've seen great, outflows out of there. We've seen, a lot in silver. Folks, that wasn't capitulation by investors that were putting silver away for higher prices. That was merely people pulling silver out to use and whatever reasons they had to use it, real silver out of this SLV fund, to use it for industry, manufacture, and to use it in a deal that's needed somewhere else. Okay, so there is no capitulation in gold and silver. That Friday's prices and knockdowns were complete bullshit. Again, just again the same people. Silver prices do sell off. It'll be to deliberate future contract positions on the criminal CRIMEX market, the world's largest criminal derivatives marketplace in the world, COMEX, CME Group's COMEX. All right, I beat that horse to a death so many times, I just don't want to talk about it. But Ted does, and you can read his articles online as well. And some of you folks think, Brian, man, you talk about Ted so much, you get your subscription for free. No, I don't. I pay for it. I think I've written Ted a couple emails. He probably doesn't even remember my name. So no, there's no connection between him and I just think he's very intelligent and probably one of the smartest guys when it comes to silver out there. I had a great conversation too. Well, short one on what was it? And I'm going to talk about best deals here too, because one of the things I can do really well is tell you the premiums on stuff, what you shouldn't be paying. Okay. And I'm going to share something even more special with you. I'm going to share the wholesale prices. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm not going to sell to you at these prices because I'm here to make money. But I'm going to share to you what me and most dealers pay for silver and gold products, all right? You don't hear that very often. And profit's not a dirty word. Me tacking on money is nothing. So if you come in and say, Brian, I heard you only paying 80 cents over for this product per ounce. How about you? No, I'm still going to get $1.80 on small quantities or whatever it is that we're getting over, and my profit margin is very fair. All right, best deals out there, and I just skipped away from all that other stuff too. So let me move into this. We're going to get into questions and comments on my video from last week as well before we wrap things up. But let me talk about again. What are dealers paying for certain products out there? Okay, I'm going to talk about the large dealers out there, the dealers that like APMEX, SD, JM Bullion. And by the way, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, I'll beat all the locals here in South Florida, here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. We have a great brick and mortar. Hey, you didn't think I was going to advertise myself? And we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, same location since 1995. And I'm a second generation dealer doing this in precious metals and rare coins. So if you're looking to buy or sell, we're the place to go to. And like I said, I'll beat the big 800-pound gorillas online that I respect, APMEX, SD, JM Bullion, and the other online guys. I'll beat them all, man, or as many as I can. So where are we going with that? All right, those guys, all the big 800-pound gorillas out there, and myself included, and guys like Andy Scheckman and all these other guys, respectable dealers out there, they're on 90%, the wholesale bids are going to be a little bit under spot. The spreads are pretty wide on this stuff. So on 90%, I'm seeing bids as low as 75 cents, minus 75 cents per ounce on silver, and I've seen ask as much as $1 over. But somewhere between that negative 75 cents and plus $1 is somewhere in that wholesale range on silver right now. Now, folks, if you're a retail person out there, you're not going to be paying these prices unless you happen to luck into them. I'm telling you what the guys that buy and sell large quantities of this product are buying and selling this product for. Let's go into Silver Eagles, still the most overpriced product out there. However, if you've got Silver Eagles and they're not in boxes, get more money for green, unsealed boxes on Silver Eagles. But unsealed boxes, nice clean rolls of Silver Eagles or individuals, you're probably going to get offered anywhere from spot plus, wholesale is spot plus $1.75 to spot plus $3.50. So I mean, there's a big range there. So a lot of the wholesale guys are paying spot plus $1.75 or more, and a lot of them are asking spot plus, I don't know, $3.25, $3.50 or more when they're selling in large wholesale quantities as well. What are the other deals out there? Well, I'm going to tell you what the best deal is out there, and it's going to be silver bars. They're still the best deal. Generic bars are. You get less when you go to sell them, but you don't pay as much when you go to buy them. I'd rather pay less up front, even if I'm going to get a little bit less down the road. I mean, think about this. Guys that have bought Silver Eagles, if they go to sell them right now, what are they going to get? Spot plus $1.50, spot plus $2 if they're lucky? I don't know, man. More than likely, they're going to get spot plus $1 right now. If you're paying $5, $7, $8, $10 for Silver Eagles, man, you just lost all that premium on this up market. Best deals again are generic bars out there, generic and brand name bars. The 100-ounce bars, buy prices are anywhere from spot minus $1 to and the ask is spot plus 35 cents to I'm going to say 65 cents. Depending on the quantities and the 100-ounce bars, and that's the wholesale price. That's what guys like me and JM Bullion, SD, Atmex, and thereabouts. That's about what they're paying. This is the wholesale market. As far as 1 ounce rounds. Probably 50 cents, minus 50 cents. Minus 75 cents to $1 thereabouts is what the wholesale is on them. And if you got to go buy them on a wholesale level, they're probably spot plus 65 cents to 80 cents, right in that range. Okay, 10-ounce bars, the same thing, except 10-ounce bars. If you're going to sell them, you're still going to get the same as a 1-ounce round, the same as a kilo bar. What is the best deal? 100-ounce bars and kilos, and I'd go with kilos because, again, wholesale on kilo bars is around spot minus 85 cents. That's probably what the bid is on it. And wholesale ask is probably spot plus around, I'd say anywhere from 45 cents to 65 cents on kilo bars, and that would apply also to 10-ounce bars as well. And of course, when we sell them, we add usually $1 in smaller quantities per ounce on that kind of stuff. Larger quantities, we get less. And like I said, folks, we'll beat Atmex, SD, JM Bullion, and all the big boys out there online. We'll also, remember, we're a brick and mortar, though. We don't have an online website. So if you're looking for a good brick and mortar, we're the place to come to. And if you're looking for large quantities of gold and silver, too, we can help you with that as well, with bank wires and shipping and all that stuff. If you can't find yourself a good local dealer like me, all right, gold bars. Gold bars were the best deal for a little while. But again, you can get some of this. Again, gold is not rare. I mean, there's plenty of gold product out there, folks. I mean, I can get millions of dollars worth of gold really quickly. Try to buy millions of dollars worth of silver, physical, not so easy to do. I mean, kind of in particular products, but Eagles, all this stuff, plenty available. Wholesale bids are probably in the plus 5. Plus $5 to $15 is probably the bids out there, and the asks are probably between $30 and $40 on gold Eagles. Again, this is wholesale, folks. That's the bid and asks. Krugerrands, I think, are the best deal out there. The bids are under melt, same as with maple leafs. The bids are under melt. I think the bids are usually between 99% and maybe a tad over melt if a dealer really needs maples or Krugerrands, that kind of thing. And as far as buying goes, the best deal absolutely is Krugerrands. I mean, the wholesale ask price is spot plus 12 to 17 bucks. Again, my cost 12 to 17, so we mark them up around, anywhere from on small quantities, 55 bucks. And I'm going to have to raise my figures a little bit soon because prices are getting so high. But thereabouts, wholesale, again, plus 15, plus 7, what is it? No, 12 to 17 there, plus 12 to 17. And let's see, what else we got going on here? Well, anyway, those are your primary products. Gold bars, I think the bid is minus anywhere from minus 12 to 17 again, kind of like Krugerrands. Well, actually, no, that's a little bit better, I guess, isn't it? Yep. And the ask price is generally plus 16 to $23 on gold bars out there on the wholesale. All right, I taught you more than most people know when it comes to what the wholesale levels are. And your dealers that you're dealing with, Atmex, SD, JM, your local dealer that you really like, or whomever, including us, are generally going to tack on a fair profit above those numbers. So don't expect to pay those numbers, folks. That's what your dealers are paying. I mean, if they're charging way, way more over than that, then maybe you should find another dealer. But, if they're making 50 cents to $1.50 an ounce, that's kind of right in the reasonable level for retail products in gold and silver. And, again, you can get some real deals out there, too, sometimes as well. If I'm overloaded with the product, or Atmex, or SD, JM, or whomever is overloaded with the product, we'll run specials sometimes just to get the stuff out the door. So there are times when you can buy the stuff really even cheaper than that as well. And I encourage you to check with me if you live in South Florida. Again, happy to help you out with your precious metals purchases. And if you're looking for larger quantities and you live outside of Florida, I can help you too. Bank wires and good traditional type of, old sound shipping, all right? Okay, let's get into last week's video. Is this a real bull market in gold and silver? And I was explaining that what I experienced in 1980 and what I experienced in 2011 and 12 during those bull markets. That movement, a little bit of movement up. Oh gosh, and I remember I was getting into how gold was in a long-term bull from like 2002 or 2003 up to 2012. Sometimes you don't recognize these bulls, and the same thing I noticed with the gold bull that we currently are having. Gold has been in kind of a bull market since 2016. If you take a look at it from a if you pan out, and look at it from like a global perspective, gold really has been in a bull market to some degree, like a slow boiling bull market since 2016. And we've seen just multiple highs here in the last year or so as well. But silver, not so much. We haven't seen we've had two all-time highs in silver, 50 and 50. And they're not even either. $50 in 1980, inflation adjusted, would be 500. So we've still never seen that kind of scale of a silver market. Again, inflation adjusted. 2012, $50, but silver is half its all-time high. That's why people like silver right now. That's why I'm seeing a lot of people make that gold to silver trade. They feel that gold is, getting up there in price, and they feel that silver is going to do a big catch-up. And I can't argue with that. I kind of believe the same thing myself. I'm more heavily invested in silver than gold, quite frankly. But again, you got to have a strong stomach for buying silver, and you have to understand how that casino place called COMEX, where price discovery is made, how that whole criminal complex operates. Because it's like sitting at a card game. If you don't know who the sucker is, you're it. But if you know who's cheating, how they're cheating, you may not be able to beat them, because it's hard to beat cheaters sometimes. However, you can make money. And when the opportunity strikes to beat them, oh, you will. Again, I'm just trying to equate it to, what it really is, a big fucking casino place. All right. Bitcoin stack. Silver Stack says no shortage of silver, just manipulated. Not true, sir. We do have a shortage of silver. Again, not in our minuscule retail silver bar and coin market, us stackers are familiar with, but in the large-scale industrial 1,000-ounce bar market, the shit's just flying off the shelves going to China and Asia. And mining has been insignificant. Recycling is non-existent, despite what the Silver Institute says. So, yeah, there are issues. I really believe that. Ben, thank you for the comment there, sir. We need a new video. Monkey hammering. Also, monkey hammering are my favorite. Not my favorite word, actually. It's the least favorite word. I hate it when they monkey hammer these markets. We all do, but and that is not a copyrighted term either. I think I heard it somewhere years ago, many times. However, I've seemed to gotten stuck with that kind of you're the monkey hammer guy or the fish guy or something. I predict a violent upside correction. A silver salty dog. I think we kind of seen it a little bit here, but I don't want to see it violent upside. I want to kind of see it a more measured upside. You know, tick tock, 3 times and a couple tick tocks back. That's what I'm looking for. Michael Matthew, I'm gonna do a sip of coffee. Cheers to you, sir. Ricky Evans says, I know you can't agree because of your business, Brian. It's a great that gold has shot up by selling it. You don't even get spot. So with premiums, insurance, somewhere to store it, I've been buying ETFs. Easy to buy the dip and sell in a couple minutes for a much fairer price. But I do love gold in my hand. You know, there's truth to that, Ricky. There is truth. I mean, I've kind of been saying there's an upside and downside to the ETFs. All right. Here's the downside: is you will get a 1099 yearly on every freaking trade you do with an ETF. You'll get a 1099. It's just the way it is. It's the law and it's required. And you are not trading for free. There's a little cost in that. But you're right. You are absolutely right. It is a good way to buy silver sometimes. All right. I'd rather physically own it, buy the stuff on the cheap at a cheap premium, not buy the real expensive stuff, and put that away. Again, I'm not a big fan of if I'm selling my product, I got to get a 1099 on it. You know, and with physical silver, you're that's not happening. Okay. You're not going to have to really worry about that. And again, that's a video I could do for another time. And if you happen to be in my store, I'm happy to discuss that with you. But that's the downside of that. And I like having the physical product in my hand. You know, having the silver in my hand. I think possession is 9/10 of the law. I don't know if that's really true, but I heard it when I was a kid. Any lawyers out there, is possession 9/10 of the law? Probably not. But I'd rather hold it in my hands. But you know, ETF. Here's an interesting thing with ETF. When premiums are absolutely insane on gold and silver products, particularly silver products, I see ETFs as being a good place to jump in because you are not paying that big premium, and hopefully you're getting that ride up the same as you would with the physical stuff. Okay, so here, follow me with this. Back in 2008, 2008? Yeah, when silver prices kind of collapsed a little bit. They went from like 20 to 50. I forget what happened, but silver prices collapsed. All of a sudden, the premiums on silver, and this is back in 2008, folks. The premiums on silver Eagles started to get up like they are now, but silver was half the price, $7 and $8 for a premium, which was astronomical. Delivery times on even 100-ounce bars and stuff were out like 2 or 3 weeks. So if you wanted to buy silver, you're going to wait weeks for your product. You're going to pay an astronomical premium. And why do I bring this up? Because that would have been the time to jump into an ETF when there was no delivery. Okay, now this is providing that the world's not falling apart and your ETF won't dissolve or fall apart, and you're going to have electricity and internet. But at that time, and again a couple years ago, when we saw silver premiums for silver eagles go to $10, $12, $15, $20, gold eagles were $225 over at one point at APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion. By the way, I'll beat their prices. And the premiums were crazy. That would have been a good time to buy an ETF because, again, why pay that big premium? Why wait the long delays? But when silver is readily available like it is right now, the premiums are super cheap. Yeah, I think I'd much prefer to have it physically in my hand than to buy it online and then get whacked with a 1099 every time I bought or sold it. And again, don't forget, folks, you are required by law to pay, I think, capital gains on all your gold and silver products, and I'm not advising that you don't. Talk to your accountant to find the best way to decrease your tax liabilities, if you ask me. Okay, let me move into a couple things, and thanks, Ricky Evans. That's an interesting question. Liquid Electrum says this is not a healthy market. This time is much different. Wars and deaths of the dollar make it unique. Yeah, wars and the death of the dollar, it does really make it unique. And this kind of makes it much harder to figure out what's going on. I mean, a lot of people are scratching their head with gold this last week. My belief is that we're just seeing a dynamic, big changes. Nothing to do with the ratios. I think, maybe a little bit with silver, but I think we're just seeing big changes in the global banking out there environment that we're not familiar with, we're not being told about. Maybe it does have to do with wars, but it's not just Israel. Maybe Ukraine. Again, I talked about that in a video here a little while ago. And actually, catch me on Twitter. I'm having a great conversations out here. I just put an article out here about, here, I'll read it to you. Ukrainian front on the verge of collapse. Maybe we are paying attention to the wrong battlefield, because the general consensus out here with a lot of guys is that gold is up maybe because of the war in Israel, or the potential for war and oil and all that stuff. But, folks, we've gone through this with Russia. We're at the edge of, maybe we still are, of a nuclear kind of confrontation, a big confrontation in Europe. But when the war in Ukraine started, that never happened. It never had a big effect on gold. So I don't understand why silver would as well. But maybe, why Israel would as well, have such a big effect on the price this week that some people are speculating. So here's what I said out here. Maybe we're paying attention to the wrong battlefield, because Israel's a war that's just heating up. We've got a war that may be ending here real soon, folks. The front, the collapse of the Ukrainian front. We're not hearing it on the news because there seems to be kind of a general lockdown about any kind of bad news coming out of that region. But Moscow claims that once the assault on the front starts, all past offers are off the table. The only option will be a complete Ukrainian capitulation. And we're nearing that point, in my opinion. The past month, Russia is making devastating attacks on energy, manufacturing centers, and troops, equipments amassed in the rear. Ukraine's manpower and air defense is suffering daily. That's unquestionable. It's reality-based, okay? Which leads me to believe, again, that maybe it's not really Israel that gold prices are heating up on. If it is because of war, maybe it... Israel's the straw that broke the camel's back with oil and everything. It's going to be an issue, but maybe it's just a complete loss of this area. I suspect, and this is my personal opinion, unless Zelensky capitulates and starts some deal making, Russians will take all the land east of the Dnipro River, most likely Odessa. I believe Russia will take Odessa last, leaving Ukraine's only port of bargaining chip. I've been saying this for a year now. You guys have heard me talking about this in my videos in the past. And it looks more probable every day. If I'd betting man, I'd say, things like they're going to come down pretty soon. So maybe what we're going to see is a total collapse of half of Ukraine. And hopefully not. Hoping that Ukraine and Russia can come to some kind of terms and end this whole thing. Death is, my feeling on this war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I'm also surprised at the lack of civilian casualties during this Russian precision attacks. Technology has changed this whole game dramatically if you're just watching this Ukraine war. And as I mentioned down here, the problem that Israel is having is civilian casualties. And if they could limit that, they'd have a lot less blowback. And that's a fact. But again, as I said here, easier said than done. Key takeaway here is perhaps this is the other less reported black swan driving gold as well, not Israel, when it comes to war. Maybe we're about to see the collapse of that entire front line. And for what it's worth, folks, I'm having a lot of fun out here. Made some new friends and new people to talk to and chat with. These guys and myself and these guys. A lot of cool people and good stuff to find out here. So catch me out here, ask me questions. I seem to be pretty available. And let me get back. Gosh, I almost forgot answering my comments here. Be well, Welco, and a little sip of coffee here. Hope you don't mind. 412 spot taking down the dollar. Yeah, I know. But again, just that parabolic move upward frightened me a little bit. I don't like to see that. Something weird happened there. I guess we'll find out. And Corinthians says, I've been stacking physical gold since 2013, and value is finally exceeding the premiums paid. However, in 2020, I bought SLV paper during the Reddit silver squeeze. At the time, SLV mirrored the silver price. Today, SLV lags the spot price by almost $2. Why do you think there's a gap? If I'm correct, and I experienced this with my Sprott, which I had forever and ignored for a long time, is that there are fees that are taking out, the ownership fees, and the fees over the years are taking out of the price, which makes the SLV and Sprott not be the exact same price as silver. When I first bought SLV, it mirrored the price of silver more or less, but over the years, I believe it was explained to me when I opened up my Sprott account and realized it was worth half. I know, don't ask me. I still don't quite get it, but I was told that the fees actually over time with SLV lower that price per share or something like that. I don't know. All right, that's the best I can tell you. If you know anything, let me know. I need a dip too, and we got our dip. We got our dip, sir. Marcus Aurelius, there you go. Hey, man, I know who you are now, sir. Read the first-hand account of Soko Begovic, who survived. Yep, in Bosnia, people giving away their entire stack for a couple cans of food. Or yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about in this video. Is that we're not, this is not going to be traded for food. You're not going to use silver for barter for food, like in Kevin Costner's The Postman or whatever the heck it is. It's just not going to happen. All right, metals is all about a hedge against a dollar that's collapsing. Back when the Germans were using a wheelbarrow full of dollars, they would take their little gold coins, their silver, their diamond, they'd go buy a wheelbarrow full of dollars. Which it didn't take a wheelbarrow full of dollars to buy bread, a couple years prior to that, but it didn't then. So their gold, the silver, and their diamonds and stuff seemed to hold the value, and they'd be able to go buy for a couple dollars, they'd go buy a whole wheelbarrow of dollars now for the same amount of gold. So that's why you hold gold and silver, as a preservation of wealth. Christopher, you're making my video editor happy. I'm almost embarrassed. $1.99. So anyways, it helps put shoes on his little girl. So Marcelo will appreciate that. Thanks, Christopher. And if you're ever in Florida, make sure you come by and say hello to my shop here. John Schroeder says, been waiting at work forever for your video, but here you are. Nothing goes straight up, but it feels like a big bull is going to beat them bears down. Yeah, it sure does feel that way. Let's see what happens on Sunday night. Rafi is awesome. Highly encourage you to do a show with him. Yeah, I got a, I got a chance to really talk to him a little on the phone, and what a really nice guy he is. I like him, and I respect his viewpoint and everything like that. And I'd have a great time talking with him, and if and when we can kind of get together on that. You can't sell your metals until dollar backed by metals. Correct? What's your solution? Until dollar backed by metals. Well, what it is again, think about that. You've got how many dollars can I buy with my gold? Not how many ounces can I buy with my dollars. That's kind of the way I view gold as money, and the dollar is just a bunch of widgets that I need to get products that I need. Where gold goes, silver does go as well. Absolutely, Silver Cobra. Well, you saw it, Silverliner. You saw that dollar move, $1.80 freaking move on Friday. Wow, pretty cool. But I've seen it. I've been through this. I wasn't surprised or taken aback. In fact, I kind of expected it. Garages all around American stuff with stuff. It comes down to bartering could be very positive. Yeah, I mean, I don't dissuade bartering, but it won't be silver and gold coins unless it's people that are familiar with silver and gold coins. All right, and in an environment where you don't have to worry about being killed or eaten on your way to get your bread. All right, so I do agree with you. I'm sorry I missed you at Baltimore as well. I'll catch you there next time. We have lost control of pricing gold. Someone else is in charge now. Supposedly Shanghai is in charge right now. Good response there, Clayton. I know Spike. Oh, hey, Liquid Electrum, what's going on? Celeste, what's going on? Spike today was keeping gold to silver ratio at 80. Seems to be a norm lately. 80 to 81 seems to be the norm lately. We're right in the norm, so there's nothing out of whack or weird about the gold to silver ratio of recent. Overall, if you look at it from a macro standpoint, it looks crazy. I mean, look at that. But, if you kind of tighten into the last couple of years, we're in that range. So the gold to silver ratio is not outside the range we haven't been in the last couple of years. Jackson, Ted Butler is a silver guru. Abso-freaking-lutely. Thank you, sir. From your lips to Ted's ears. It's okay. Sierra Legacy, I'm back, man. I'm back. I just not been doing the videos as much. I am busier than a one-arm canoer, a one-arm paddle surfer, a one-arm wallpaper hanger. So I've been busy. And nothing against that, my one-arm friends out there. I'm just saying how busy you guys can really be. Philip Stanton, what's up? Always nice to see and hear from you. The pier, I don't think it's ever coming back. I don't think the guy has any money to fix it. And he's talking about the Lauderdale by the Sea pier that's down the street from me. That's been an icon in our town for a long time. But the current owner, in my opinion, let it go to hell and and didn't repair it. And now we've got just a broken down mess out there. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Heck of a day in the market. A position for silver to get slammed, but it tore through my limits. Yeah, and then that downside, that up and down on Friday must have been hell for you. Anyway, good on you making money and doing a day trader. You got more balls than I do. I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. I've been buying and selling and looking at silver prices minute to minute, and sometimes hour to hour, minute to minute sometimes throughout my entire lifetime, and I still would not be comfortable day trading. Um, I don't know why. Just I don't know. I kind of like things from the macro standpoint. This broadcast I had about a Riscato. Oh man, that sounds good. I haven't had a Riscato in a long time. Copper Bones, thanks for commenting. Mark Gotcho says waiting for the dust to settle as I reach most. Boy, a lot of dust on Friday, weren't there? Silver is consumed, that is for sure. I can tell you for a fact, as a precious metal dealer, that recycling in silver is nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing happening in recycling. Nothing. There is no recycling in silver. There's no silverware or jewelry coming in or photographic stuff. There's zip. So whatever you hear from the Silver Institute is complete bullshit. There is zero, zip, hardly any recycling in silver going on. All right, folks, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, asking you to think for yourself and always question authority, just like Timothy Leary asked you to do. And, question what you think you know as well. Sometimes, we're lied to from the day we're born, from Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, to, the elections are legit. I'm sorry, I had to say it. We're just, so think for yourself, question what you think you know, because it's much easier to obtain the truth if you actually know it yourself first. And that's it. Let the quote speak for itself. Folks, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you live in South Florida, come by and see us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Happy to give you the best deal we can. We'll beat the locals. We'll beat Atmex, SD, JM Bullion, and a bunch of other great people that sell online. And if you don't live in South Florida and you don't have a great local dealer like me around, and you're buying larger quantities. Unfortunately, I can't do smaller quantities because I don't have a website, but you're buying larger quantities, I can help you with that. So if you're looking to buy larger quantities, make sure you give us a call. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays to Fridays, and we can accommodate you. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful weekend. Be safe, and I'll talk to you. Let's see what happens on Sunday and Monday. Talk to you soon. Bye now.